Bears Nation! Did you think this era of mediocrity was over? Think again. The franchise is about to make 3 moves that will either take them to the playoffs or bury them in the darkness of the NFC North. Ready for the coming tsunami? Turn the volume all the way up and keep your eyes glued. First bomb, the management is playing with fire by betting on a world-class WR1 and a guard who destroys the O-line. But beware, if you sign both, there won't be a single cent left to strengthen the defense. A hungry rookie could buy a yacht in Venezuela with the salary of these guys. Prioritize QB protection or the media show of the passing game? Decide quickly, because in 72 hours we could see the most epic heist or the most expensive catastrophe of the season. Second Quake, an elite guard, but plagued by injuries, stays or goes? His numbers are Pro Bowl level when he's healthy. But this is Chicago, not a physical therapy room. If Caleb Williams is going to survive, would you risk $10 million on a player who sets foot on the field 2 out of every 3 Sundays? The draft is full of young bulls. What they decide today will determine if we have an iron wall or a house of cards. Third revolution, Ben Johnson doesn't sleep. He works in silence. A defensive genius of 36 years with Viper coach blood is hours away from arriving at Hallis Hall. This man turns average players into backfield terrors, but hasn't coached a single second in the NFL. Is he the successor to Buddy Ryan or the next big failure of the franchise? If they hire this tactical mutant, Chicago's defensive line will resurrect like wolves in winter. If you want to stay informed firsthand about the latest Bears news, hit the subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, Chicago Bears fans, are we ready for what's coming? Because I tell you this, the franchise might be about to make the boldest move of the season. 2 names that make the NFL tremble. T. Higgins, with golden hands, and Trey Smith, a bulldozer with a helmet. But can we afford them? That's the problem. Look, Higgins is not just any receiver. He's a WR1 disguised as a WR2 in Cincinnati. 92 receptions, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns last season. Can you imagine this guy alongside DJ Moore? It would be an offensive hurricane. But beware, because the contract he's asking for $114 million over 4 years, $70 million guaranteed. And that's if there's no bidding war, which there will be. Because every team with aspirations will want this man. Is it worth emptying the wallet for him? And then there's Trey Smith, an all-pro guard from the Chiefs. He protected Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls. 5 years, $105 million, $65 million guaranteed. A high price? Of course! But I ask you, how much is it worth to keep Justin Fields standing? How much is it worth to open holes for this team to run like a pack of enraged bears? But here's the dilemma, with only $66 million under the salary cap. Can we sign both without strangling the rest of the team? Impossible! Because if we spend $50 million combined on these 2, what do we do with the secondary defenses? With the linebackers? Or are we going to play 2025 without depth in the roster? That would be suicide. I tell you, Higgins is a luxury, but Smith is a necessity. Why? Because without a solid offensive line, Justin Fields will end up in the hospital, and neither Higgins nor Moore will be of any use. Prioritize the trenches, build from the guts. A star receiver doesn't save a QB chased by defenders. But beware! If Ryan Poles manages to square the numbers, if they make creative adjustments, could they have their cake and eat it too? I tell you no. Because in the NFL, when you pay stars, you sacrifice the future. Is it worth mortgaging the flexibility of 2026 or 2027 for a Super Bowl attempt now? I think not. Here's my prediction. The Bears will go after Smith with everything, offer a tight contract to Higgins, and when he asks for more, they'll say goodbye. Because at Hallis Hall they know that trenches win games. And in the end. But I want to know what you think. Should the Bears risk it and sign both players, even if it means choking the salary cap? Or is it better to invest in Smith and look for a cheaper receiver in the draft? Are you ready for a decision that could change the roster in 2025? We're talking about Teven Jenkins. Because, I tell you this, Chicago's offensive line was a disaster this year, ranked 24th by PFF. But in the midst of the chaos, Jenkins shone with ratings of 75.4 among the top 15 guards in the NFL. Do you know what that means? When he played, the man was a wall. But here's the problem, and I ask you, what's the use of a star guard if he spends more time on the bench than protecting Caleb Williams? 738 snaps, 55th in the NFL, for sacks allowed and 4 other penalties. And his injuries? A Greek tragedy. 5 different parts of his body on the medical report this season. Back? Yes. Neck? 2023. Calf? Goodbye to the final game. How do you trust a player who, in the middle of a decisive drive, could disappear like a ghost? And beware of this. Brad Biggs from the Chicago Tribune said it mercilessly, Chicago should not renew him. The reason? He needs a fresh start, and the Bears need players who can stay on the field. Can you imagine? Losing Jenkins would mean looking for 3 new starters on the line. Center? Vacant. Guards? Vacant. And who protects Caleb Williams then? A rookie? A tired veteran? That's the million-dollar question. Now, listen to my truth. Teven Jenkins has talent. His numbers prove it. But is a long-term contract worth it for a player who plays 50% of the snaps? I think not. The Bears cannot afford another season of maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. Caleb needs protection, not uncertainty. If Jenkins accepts a 1-year contract, maybe. But would anyone bet $10 million on a glass man? And here's my final argument. The franchise must prioritize durability over momentary brilliance. What's the use of a top 15 guard if he disappears in October? No! Chicago deserves a line that lasts 17 weeks. Jenkins is not that answer. And now I ask Bears Nation, what would you do? Renew Jenkins with a low salary and pray for his health, or let him go and risk everything in the draft? Are the Chicago Bears about to make a masterstroke in their coaching staff? I tell you this, the Windy City franchise keeps moving pieces, and today we have news that will make Bears Nation tremble. Why is Ben Johnson still not completing his staff at this stage? Is he playing chess while others play checkers? I think so, and I'll tell you why. The name that has Florida fans broken. Gerald Chapman, defensive coordinator of the Gators, is eyeing the Bears' sights to lead the defensive line. Who is this 36-year-old prodigy? I ask you. He started in the darkness of the NCAA at Butler University, 25 sacks in 11 games. Then he polished Myles Garrett at Texas A&M. Does that sound like a talent developer or not? Then he went through the Packers, Broncos, and in 2023 he revolutionized Tulane with 27 sacks. But here comes the big one. At Florida, he lost his star Princely Umanmielen, and still his defense registered 39 sacks. 39! You tell me if that's not winner DNA. But wait, why hasn't Chicago made a move yet? Is Johnson falling asleep? No! I tell you this, he's weaving a web of precision. He doesn't want glamorous names, he wants a stoic. Chapman has NFL experience with the Bengals, he knows what a Sunday trench is. And the best part, wherever he goes, the statistics explode. Do you think it's a coincidence that Dennis Allen wants him for his defensive scheme? I don't. Here's my storm of truths. If Ben Johnson signs Chapman, the Bears would not only have an expert in rushers, they would have a recruiter. This man knows college football like few others, and with the 9th draft pick at stake, we need someone who detects raw talent. But beware! Florida fans are already up in arms. Are we facing another Matt Rule, who shines in the NCAA and fades in the NFL? I ask you. My final judgment, this smells like a smart move. Chapman is young, ambitious, eager to prove himself in the league. If Justin Fields, or whoever the QB is, wants to compete, we need a defense that scares. With Montez Sweat and this new ace up the sleeve, the NFC North trembles. But will it be enough? Now I ask you, do you think Gerald Chapman is the missing piece, or should the Bears look for a more established name? Bears Nation, your voice defines the team's future. The crossroads is clear. Would you risk the salary cap to sign Smith and a star receiver, or trust the safe strategy of the draft? Would you renew Teven Jenkins with a tight contract, betting on his health, or let him go to look for new promises in the draft? And in defense, is Gerald Chapman the definitive piece, or should they prioritize a more established name? Comment your verdict. What path would you take to build a winning team? Share your vision, discuss every detail, and make sure no fan misses this debate. Subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and join a community where every opinion shapes the Bears' legacy. Here there are no spectators. We are all part of the game. Ready to take Chicago to the top?